When Princess Diana's baby boy fell in love with a gorgeous American starlet, we all went, ah. Then things got even better. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were married and in doing so took on the role of Duke and Duchess of the world.
Are you serious?
But now something has happened. The couple appear to want a little privacy. Too much to ask? You bet. The public feel cheated, the tabloids have turned, and the blame game, much of it directed at Meghan, is fierce.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention.
It hasn't yet progressed to off with her head, but it's still a major headache for the royal family.
Nice.
It started so well. A dashing prince with the love of his life. The announcement of an engagement.
It's beautiful, and he designed it. It's incredible.
And
oh my God!
Plans for a wedding. Sure, there were a few hiccups.
She's not gonna tell me that I can't.
15 months.
What is he doing?
The fairy tale has fractured. And one person is copping all the blame. Andrew, what on earth has Meghan done?
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
Well, Meghan seems to be a version of the Antichrist as far as Fleet Street are concerned. And it's almost a royal rite of passage you've got to go through.
Andrew
Are you serious?
Morton has spent a lifetime making the private lives of the royal family public. But he reckons Meghan Markle bashing has gone too far.
You don't know what's going on, really. And yet the kind of casual vituperation of Meghan and Harry is, it makes you shudder. I mean, it's not like she's done anything wrong. She's just basically living her life as a royal. She's, in my view,
Wait for it.
she's done everything right.
It's quite revealing that Meghan said when she joined the royal family that she was going to hit the ground running.
Unlike Morton, former palace insider Patrick Jeffson said as Meghan needs work to make it as a royal.
Now, of course, we love people who hit the ground running. Energy, enthusiasm, motivation, let's do it. But you've got to know where you're running to and who's running with you. And what are you going to say when you get there?
At what should be the happiest time of the newlyweds' lives, things have gone famously awry for Meghan, and in turn, Harry too.
Are you serious?
Eyebrows were first raised when taxpayers funded their $4 million house reno.
The Duke and Duchess have been criticised for demanding privacy, yet still accepting taxpayers' money for renovations on their home.
Oh my God!
More tut-tutting when the couple kept little Archie away from public view.
I mean, they could have come out in a glass carriage just to show us the baby in the christening gown.
Then Meghan was slammed for acting like a snob at the tennis.
This is not a private visit. If you're the Duchess of Sussex getting a freebie at Wimbledon in the VIP seat, it's not a private visit.
And now, a further frenzy of outrage because
Here it comes.
these eco-warriors like to travel in style.
A lot of people have labelled them hypocrites because they've taken 4 private jet flights in just 11 days.
Andrew Morton says,
Are you serious?
it's just not worth the hot air.
It seems to me that Meghan really should be given applause, not and bouquets, rather than the attacks that she and Harry are suffering from.
I don't think they're listening to you.
Stop it.
Who's they?
Well, the press. Has she really provoked the British media so badly?
The British media are notoriously fickle. They have an antenna
Are you serious?
for when the royal family is not being entirely straight with them. And this may be why Meghan and other members of the family have taken far more control of their own image.
I mean, look at all these tourists here.
A lot of people, and it's a sunny day.
Yeah. Well, you know who they've come to see, Harry and Meg's.
Almost there.
They've not come to see Harry and Meg's. They've come to see the Queen. They've come to pay respect to the great British tradition of the monarchy. They've come to see real royals.
Outside the gates of the world's most famous family home, today there's only one winner in a popularity poll about young royal wives.
Kate is
a billion times better.
Meghan does not hold a candle to Kate.
I'm here with British commentator Katie Hopkins. Meghan's interesting.
No, she's fickle, she's of the moment, she's this deep.
Who
You serious?
says someone has to speak for the commoners and expose the real Meghan Markle.
Something so personal and perfectly normal. And to do that to his wife, Catherine, I mean, what has Princess Catherine ever done to Harry but love him? He should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah,
I suspect he is, because you can lie to the entire world. When you have quiet moments, you cannot lie to yourself.
Fact. Yeah, and indeed, and in the book, he even describes Kate as the sister he never had. Well, funny way to treat your sister. You mentioned Meghan's, shall we say, changing views on race. You have actually said in all of Spare and all of the characters spoken about in Spare, the people spoken about in Spare, you believe Meghan Markle is the most racist person in the book. What do you mean by that?
Good question.
What I mean by that is that if you go back and you look throughout Meghan Markle's entire career, she never wanted people to know that she was black. She never wore that on her sleeve. She never spoke about her blackness. If we had looked at her, I maybe would have assumed that she was Hispanic. No one would have ever guessed that she was black. It was never relevant to where she wanted to be in her career. And the first time that you find that Meghan mentions her blackness is when she wants to get out of the royal family. Even at the wedding, the only black people she had were billionaires that she wanted to be on their shows. She had Oprah and she had Gayle King and she had her mother, who is partially black.
What do you mean by that?
But Meghan Markle didn't have any of her black family members at her wedding. This is a woman that was escaping her blackness throughout her entire life until she realized that it could be used to her advantage. And I find that to be despicably racist. When you say the only value that being black has to me is when I can use it to get ahead and to climb the social ladder, and that's when I'm going to mention it and I'm going to use it as a shield so you can't say anything because I'm black and how dare you speak about a black person in a negative way. Because she realizes that I don't have to face any critiques. I'll just call it racism. And then everyone will have to excuse my behavior. I find that to be despicable. It's a very bad view of Black Americans to have. And I want to be clear that it's not the way that most of us think.
Okay.
And so I am so disgusted. Now she's done a 23andMe because she wants people to know what percentage of Nigerian she is. She suddenly became interested in knowing what percentage of Nigerian she was at the ripe age of 41 years old. I mean, do me a favor, spare me, Harry, spare me.
What's interesting, though, reading the book, you can just tell how manipulated and sucked in he is by his wife. I mean, Candace, he still believes that Meghan had no idea who he was. He says multiple times in the book, she's never Googled me. She's never Googled my family. She has him wrapped around her little finger. And that's not to say that Harry shouldn't take the blame. I've always said right from the start, I think they are both to blame for their actions.
Fact.
But he is manipulated by her, is he not?
Absolutely. And what's so funny about that is Meghan is a trained actress. What she does is that she studies people. She's not a good actress, but she is a trained one.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute. First of all, you're not going to speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Right? She's been doing it her entire life. And there was no doubt that she studied Princess Diana. She studied her mannerisms towards Harry when he was a boy and the way that she grabs her face. And this is the psychopathic elements of what she does, putting a pregnancy text next to Princess Diana's hair, saying that she put her hands on the grave to have a conversation with her, bursting into tears. Oh. And she has convinced, there's a thing called in psychology called the Freudian transfer. She has convinced Harry that she is Princess Diana, except this time he has an opportunity to save her. That is the truth. And it's worked, right? So she's done this convincing performance for Harry that I don't know how I ended here. I just love you. And I'm just like your mom. And the one chance that you had to save your mom again, when he recounts that tale and the things that she said, she threatened homicide on her unborn child and suicide on herself. And then she convinced Harry that it was his idea to leave the UK.
So that was a f***ing lie.
No, of course, if you threatened to commit suicide and homicide against my child, you basically said to Harry, you need to do something radical or I'm going to take my life. And that something radical was to leave the UK and to leave the royal family. And yet he believes that this was his own idea and not that these ideas were manipulated and planted into his head by Meghan. As I said, he just isn't very bright. He actually believes everything that she says to him. And unfortunately, I don't see how he can get out of it because he's got no one around him. It's a perfect example when you learn about abusive relationships, isolating someone entirely from their friends and their family, making them believe that their friends and their family are the enemies. I mean, these are classic signs of an abusive relationship. She has accomplished all of them. Getting him to speak loudly, speak out against his family. I mean, what late stage of victimhood is he in right now? So he is. I'm angry at Harry for what he's done to his family. There is a part of me that does see him as a true victim in a very dangerous relationship that he is being manipulated within.